This is how it begins. Do you read Savitri? Yes, mother, yes. You have read the whole poem? Yes, mother, I have read it twice. Have you understood all that you have read? Not much, but I like poetry. It is because of that I read it. It does not matter if you do not understand it, but read it always. You will see that every time you read it, there will be something new revealed to you. Each time you will find something new, each time a new experience, things which were not there, things you did not understand, arise and suddenly become clear. Always something unexpected comes up through the words and lines. Every time you try to read and understand, you will see that something is added. Something which was hidden behind is revealed clearly and vividly. I tell you that even the verses you have read once before will appear to you in a different light each time you reread them. This kind of thing happens invariably. Always it is something which enriches your experience, always a revelation at each step. But you must not read it as you read other books or newspapers. You must read with an empty head, a blank and vacant mind, without there being any other thought. You must concentrate much, remain empty, calm and open. Then the words, rhythms, vibrations will penetrate directly to this white page, will put their stamp upon the brain, will explain themselves without your making any effort. Savitri alone is sufficient to make you climb to the highest rungs of the ladder. If truly one can meditate upon it, all the help one needs will be found therein. For him who wishes to follow the path, it is a concrete help, as though the Lord himself were taking you by the hand and leading you to the destined goal. And then every question, however personal it is, has its answer here. For every difficulty, there has been traced the means of surmounting it. Indeed, there is everything necessary to do the yoga. He has crammed the whole universe in a single book. It is a marvelous work, magnificent and of an incomparable perfection. You know, before writing Savitri, Sri Aurobindo had said to me, I am impelled to launch on a new adventure. I was hesitant in the beginning, but now I am decided. Still, I do not know how far I shall succeed. I pray for help. And you know what it was? It was, before beginning, I warn you in advance. It is his way of speaking, so full of humility and divine modesty. He has never asserted himself. And the day he actually began it, he told me, I have launched myself in a rudderless boat upon the vastness of the infinite. And once having started, he wrote page after page without intermission, as though it were a thing already complete up there, and he had only to transcribe it in ink down here on those pages. In truth, the entire form of Savitri has descended en masse from the highest region, and Sri Aurobindo with his genius only arranged the lines in a superb and magnificent style. Sometimes entire lines were revealed and he has left them intact, and he has worked hard, untiringly, to get the inspiration from the highest possible summit. And what a work he has created. Yes, it is a true creation in itself. It is an unequaled work. Everything is there in it, and it is put in such a simple, such a clear form, verses perfectly harmonious, limpid, and eternally true. My child, I have read so many things, but I have never come across anything which could be compared with Savitri. I have studied the best works in Greek, Latin, English, and of course in French literature, also in German, and all the great creations of the West and the East, including the great epics. But I repeat it, I have not found anywhere anything like Savitri. All these literary works seem to me empty, flat, hollow, without any deep reality, apart from a few rare exceptions. And these too would represent only a small section of what Savitri is. What grandeur, what amplitude, what reality. It is something immortal and eternal that he has created. I tell you once again, there is nothing like it in the whole world, even if one puts aside the vision of reality, that is the essential substance which is the heart of the inspiration, and considers only the verses in themselves. One will find them unique, of the highest classical kind. What he has created is something man cannot imagine, for everything is there, everything. It may then be said that Savitri is a revelation. It is a meditation, it is a quest of the infinite, the eternal. If it is read with this aspiration to immortality, the reading itself will serve as a guide to immortality. To read Savitri is indeed to practice yoga, spiritual concentration. One can find there all that is needed to realize the divine. Each step of yoga is noted here, including the secret of all other yogas also. Surely, if one sincerely follows what is revealed here in each verse, one will reach finally the transformation of the supramental yoga. It is truly the infallible guide who never abandons. His support is always there for him who wishes to follow the path. Each verse of Savitri is like a revealed mantra which surpasses all that man possessed by way of knowledge. And I repeat this, the words are expressed and arranged in such a way that the sonority of the rhythm leads you to the origin of sounds, which is Om. My child, yes, everything is there. Mysticism, occultism, philosophy, the history of evolution, the history of man, of the gods, of creation, of nature, how the universe has been created, why, for what purpose, what destiny, all is there. You can find all the answers to all your questions therein. Everything is explained, even the future of man and of evolution, all that nobody yet knows. He has described all these in beautiful and clear words so that spiritual adventurers who wish to solve the mysteries of the world may understand it more easily. But this mystery is well hidden behind the lines, and one must climb to the required stage of true consciousness to discover it. All prophecies, all that is going to come is presented with a precise and wonderful clarity. Sri Aurobindo gives you here the key to find the truth, to discover the consciousness, so that the light may penetrate there and transform it. He has shown the path, how one can liberate oneself from the ignorance and climb right up to the supraconscious. Each stage, each plane of consciousness, how they can be scaled, how one can cross over the barrier of death and reach immortality. You will find the whole journey in detail, and as you go forward, you can discover things altogether unknown to man. That is Savitri, and much more yet. It is a real experience to read Savitri. All the secrets that man possessed, he has revealed, as well as all that awaits him in the future. All this is found in the depth of Savitri, but one must have the knowledge to discover it all. The experience of the planes of consciousness, the experience of the supermind, even the experience of the conquest of death. He has noted all the stages, marked each step in order to advance integrally in the integral yoga. All this is his own experience. And what is most surprising is that it is my own experience also. It is my sadhana which he has worked out. Each object, each event, each realization, all the descriptions, even the colors are exactly what I saw, and the words, phrases are also exactly what I heard. All this before having read the book. I read Savitri many times afterwards, but earlier, when he was writing, he used to read it to me. Every morning I used to hear him read Savitri. During the night, He would write, and in the morning read it to me. I observed something curious, that day after day, the experiences he read out to me in the morning were those I had had the previous night, word by word. Yes, all the descriptions, the colors, the pictures I had seen, the words I had heard, all, I heard it all, created by him in poetry, in miraculous poetry. Yes, they were exactly my experiences of the previous night, which he read out to me the following morning. And it was not just one day, but for days and days together. And every time I used to compare what he said with my previous experiences, and always they were the same. I repeat, it was not that I had told him my experiences and that he had noted them down afterwards. No, he knew already what I had seen. It was my experiences he has presented at length, and they were his experiences also. It is, moreover, the picture of our joint adventure into the unknown, or rather into the supermind. These are experiences lived by him, realities, supracosmic truths. He experienced all this as one experiences joy or sorrow physically. He walked in the darkness of inconscience, even in the neighborhood of death, endured the sufferings of perdition, and emerged from the mud, the earth's misery, to breathe the sovereign plenitude and enter the supreme Ananda. He crossed all these realms, went through the consequences, suffered and endured physically what one cannot imagine. Nobody till today has suffered like him. He accepted suffering to transform suffering into the joy of union with the Supreme. It is something unique and incomparable in the history of the world. It is something that has never happened. He is the first to trace the path in the unknown, so that we may be able to walk with certitude towards the supermind. He has made the work easy for us. Savitri is his whole yoga of transformation, and this yoga now comes for the first time in the earth consciousness. And I think that man is not yet ready to receive it. It is too high and too vast for him. He cannot understand it, grasp it. For it is not by the mind that one can understand Savitri. It needs spiritual experiences to understand and assimilate it. The more one advances on the path of yoga, the more one assimilates, and the better. No, it is something which will be appreciated only in the future. It is the poetry of tomorrow, of which he has spoken in the future poetry. It is too subtle, too refined. It is not in the mind or through the mind. It is in meditation that Savitri is revealed. And men have the audacity to compare it with the work of Virgil or Homer and find it inferior. They do not understand. They cannot understand. What do they know? Nothing at all. And it is useless to try to make them understand. Man will know what it is, but in a distant future. It is only the new race with a new consciousness which will be able to understand. I assure you, there is nothing under the blue sky to compare with Savitri. It is the mystery of mysteries. It is a super epic. It is super literature, super poetry, super vision. It is a super work, even if one considers the number of lines he has written. No, these human words are not adequate to describe Savitri. Yes, one needs superlatives, hyperboles to describe it. It is a hyper-epic. No, words express nothing of what Savitri is. At least I do not find them. It is of immense value, spiritual value, and all other values. It is eternal in its subject and infinite in its appeal, miraculous in its mode and power of execution. It is a unique thing. The more you come into contact with it, the higher will you be uplifted. Ah, truly it is something. It is the most beautiful thing he has left for man, the highest possible. What is it? When will man know it? When is he going to lead a life of truth? When is he going to accept this in his life? This yet remains to be known. If you are depressed, if you feel miserable, if you do not succeed in anything that you undertake, or else if it is always the contrary that happens, however you try, if it has come to such a pass that you lose your temper, life is become disgusting, and you are absolutely unhappy, then take up Savitri and open it at any page and read. You will see that all disappears like smoke, and you will have the strength to overcome the worst gloom. You will no more feel that which tormented you. Instead, you will feel a wonderful happiness, a reversal of the consciousness, along with an energy and force that conquer everything, as though nothing impossible was there. And you will feel this inexhaustible joy that purifies all. Read just a few lines, and that is sufficient to establish the contact with your inmost being. There is here such an extraordinary power. Yes, you have only to open Savitri like that at hazard, without reflecting, and you will have the answer. Concentrate deeply, and you will find the answer to what was tormenting you. I tell you, I am sure 99% you will have the answer. My child, every day you are going to read Savitri. Read properly with the right attitude, concentrating a little before opening the pages and trying to keep the mind as empty as possible, absolutely without a thought. The direct road is by the heart. I tell you, If you try to concentrate really with this aspiration, you can light a flame, the psychic flame, the flame of purification in a very short time, perhaps in a few days. What you cannot do normally, you can do with the help of Savitri. Try and you will see how very different it is, how new. If you read with this attitude, with this something at the back of your consciousness, as though it were an offering to Sri Aurobindo, you know it is charged, fully charged with consciousness, as though Savitri were a being, a real guide. I tell you, whoever wishing to practice yoga tries sincerely and feels the necessity for it, will be able to climb with the help of Savitri to the highest step of the ladder of yoga, will be able to find the secret that Savitri represents, and this without the help of a guru. And he'll be able to practice it anywhere. For him, Savitri alone will be the guide. For all that he needs, he will find in Savitri. If he remains quite calm when before a difficulty, or when he does not know where to turn to go forward and how to overcome obstacles, for all these hesitations and these incertitudes which overwhelm us at every moment, he will have the necessary indications and the necessary concrete help. If he remains very quiet, open, if he aspires sincerely, always he will be as if led by the hand. If he has faith, the will to give himself, and the essential sincerity, he will reach the final goal. Indeed, Savitri is something concrete, living. It is all replete, packed with consciousness. It is the supreme knowledge above all philosophies, all religions of man. It is the spiritual way. It is yoga, tapasya, sadhana, everything in its single body. Savitri has an extraordinary power. It gives out vibrations for him who can receive them, the true vibrations of each stage of consciousness. It is incomparable. It is truth in its plenitude, the truth Sri Aurobindo brought down on the earth. My child, one must try to find the secret that Savitri represents, the prophetic message Sri Aurobindo reveals there for us. This is the work before you. It is hard, but it is worth the trouble.